Good day, everyone. Please, can you pull up the slide? Okay. Okay, so I'll be speaking on a very interesting matter. Fortunately, I think it was a good idea to bring this topic at this time because it's almost like a communication of all what we have been hearing. So we'll be speaking on scaling startups in emerging markets, the power of partnerships and smart capital. We're looking at two things: partnership and capital. How to scale your startup in a market like Port Harcourt. Now, this is the reality. Ideas are in Port Harcourt. Ideas are every day in Port Harcourt. I was NIT yesterday at a judge at a pitch by the students. So while the people presented several good softwares developed by engineers that have been trained for 2 years, the question I asked the first team, you are talking about producing Facebook. You have been working on this for 2 years. Why Facebook? Why another Facebook? Other speakers have spoken on it. That is because there's dearth of brilliant ideas. Someone else came to speak about is an app that I know will scale if given the right partnership. It was about this, an alternative to Flow. Flow. Ladies, can you relate with it? Can you relate with it? Guys, can you relate with it? No. Some guys are denying. Guys, you are denying. Flow. Okay, let's say the married guys, can you relate with it? Yes or no? Okay. So they developed a Flow app, and you needed to see the interesting features of the app. Far outweighs the functions of the original app. The question now lies, when such is developed, what happens after then? What happens after then? What happens after a pitch section, scaling? If it dies at that stage, everything gets down. But that was a brilliant idea. In fact, by the time I left there, I said I'm willing, if they are available, to partner with the team that built that app. Because that app has the potential of scaling and gaining much acceptability in Nigeria and in Africa. No access to funding, no mentoring, and no talent. Talent living instead of building. Some years back, I was faced with this in Port Harcourt. I called my people. I said, it's time to japa. Let's go to UK. We are tired and fed up in Port Harcourt, building apps, nobody buying, no money, no light, no NEPA, no internet, nothing. I sent an email to the UK embassy asking for, in fact, I asked for super priority visa interview, the type they will give after 1 day after application. They replied me, giving me 24 hours to come for interview. I met my family and said, I think we need to cancel that idea. We need to cancel it and come back and build in Port Harcourt. Why? I realized that those are not excuses, but are opportunities. How are the opportunities? That is when we talk about partnership. Gromi is here, but Gromi, your boss did some, I thought he would be, I wanted to attack him. When he spoke of Gromi app, he missed out a key concept. He said the app was built outside Nigeria. No. The app was built with Port Harcourt tech firms. He forgot that when Chigisoft was displaying their banner, Chigisoft put Gromi. How many of us saw it? Some of us skip those details. Chigisoft put Gromi on their advert, meaning they were part of that. We shouldn't be shy of saying it. Because these are the reasons why investors can't come to Port Harcourt. When you build in Port Harcourt, you must be proud to say this product was built by Port Harcourt. Let me give you an example. 2024, we built a security platform for the military. I pitched that platform. I got that idea from Dubai when I traveled. I saw the way they organized, just like the Vision 2050. We built it and pitched it to the military. They marked my face. 2025, Chigisoft had a military contract. They called us as a strategic partner. That is collaboration. We went together to Abuja. While I was there, I put on TGSoft garments. I thought nobody knew my face. We went in there. You know, techies have access. Something was spoiled. They would demand for the main person in charge. We went in. I was told, are you TGSoft or the other people that came the other time, Speedlink? I said, why? They said, we know you. You are Speedlink. I said, we are partners. Where are you coming from? Canada. I said, no. We are coming from Port Harcourt. You should be willing to speak up. Currently, TGSoft and Speedlink, we had an international job to build for a bank in France. We call TGSoft. Let's build together. That app is labeled Built from Port Harcourt. Collaboration. When I went to Abuja to submit the bill and the quote, I was told, scrape out Port Harcourt and put your address as Lagos or Abuja. I said, no, why? Port Harcourt is not known. Why is Port Harcourt not known? That is what we are coming to speak about today. We should be able to build up ourselves. I'll speak a little about Speedlink, about the firm I represent. I'll tell us why and how we overcame this challenge. Speedlink as a firm, we didn't grow from a boardroom. We grew from solving real-life problems with collaboration. We have 12 years now, so we have scaled that 10 years gap, like my colleague said. We have scaled that 10 years gap. When we started, we looked at solving real-life problems. In fact, on my CV, I had to do a CV because I became a lecturer last year. That was my first time doing a CV. On my CV, I put up innovative thinker. Because ideas and sort of real problems is number one. Time without number, I attend a lot of tech events to the extent I get tired of it. Why? Pitches upon pitches upon pitches. What is everybody pitching on? Fintech, edtech, social media. We are rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding. Yesterday, Paystack sent me a mail to be among a tester for a new dashboard feature they have been. I asked myself, those that are still trying to replicate and replace Paystack, why do you think you will be able to replace Paystack? You won't. Because if you must build, you must be able to solve a problem that no one has found, or you are solving a future problem. That is the only way Port Harcourt can be known. Let me give you an instance. I was in Kigali some years back, 2 years ago. Coincidentally, Bosun came that same time. Hope you know Bosun. We don't know your Minister of Communication in Nigeria. That is why Port Harcourt is still like this. You don't know him. You don't know him. Wow. He came in there to that same event. He came in from the government arm to study what Kigali is doing. I went in as private. Kigali had what is called a research and innovation hub. Kenya has the same thing. I was there, I also saw M-Pesa. Keke, bike, they use M-Pesa. They have an innovation hub. What do you think goes on there? That is what I want to speak about as my key point. What happens in their innovation hub? They simply call out software developers. If you can code, you come in there. Back end, front end, UI, UX, robotics engineer, AI engineers, you come in there. They now have what is called the thinkers, the idealists. Those who think and plan. What are they doing? They are staying in one space, thinking on how to solve real-life problems. Not problems that have already been solved. Real-life problems. How long do you think these processes take? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But once solved, what is the numbers? Speedlink now, we are gaining, our revenue is growing up to 9-digit figures. When COVID-19 came, it hit the world hard. Some people cashed out, some were crying. 2018, 2019, we went into our thinking room because we knew that money is just one kind of capital. We went into thinking. By research, Fortunately, we are in close proximity with the university environment, so we are keen on research. By research, we discovered that there's a lot of gap in the EdTech and something we didn't know what was coming. I wrote an email to Zoom. Zoom, then nobody knew Zoom, or few in Nigeria. I wrote an email to Zoom. I'm building a platform for e-learning. I need your support to give us APIs to enable this platform. They asked why. I replied. They gave it to us as testers. We integrated it to our system. 2019, COVID came. In December, Nigerian schools shut down. By February the next year, universities shut down. What happened? Speedlink came up with an EdTech product that had inbuilt learning management system tied to Zoom. What was the resultant effect? We were the only available product at that time, within the first few weeks, to launch. 2 years or 1 year of research, what was the pricing? Nobody said it. We set the price in the market, and we are now billing people based on how we see you. If you come as a big university, I can wake up in the morning and say, bill these people 8 million. The other one comes in, 4 million. Before the bandwagon effect, you know what I mean, the bandwagon effect? All of us that go in to start building, I can code. Before you come up and spoil the market, we cashed out. How did that come up? Innovation. Your network is not just your network, it's an impact multiplier. I'll give us an example. Remember, I'm saying I'm keen on R&D. That is a strange word to some of us, research and innovation. A colleague of mine in Abuja, I visited him, is into tuberculosis research. They are grossing billions of naira. How did they start? The guy visited us, sorry, he's a man, but we are friends. So I could say he visited us in our office and we got talking. He saw our lab we are building. He said one thing that stuck with me. He was in Ghana. While in Ghana, he saw a robotics guy. The guy could build robots. He was good on hardware. He's a medical doctor, personally. He told the guy, I need you to do something. He's an idealist just like me. We co-think. He said, I need to be able to diagnose typhoid, tuberculosis in a very fast way. You build an equipment that have a nose mask that someone should just breathe in, and it sucks in and produces the film. The next thing, he gathered software engineers, those we call front end, back end, build a platform that is out there to recruit doctors. The platform was built recruiting doctors virtually. Next, they called our guy there Simply Pay, putting a payment platform that can pay people globally. None of them knew what they were building. They were just in a lab, working together. Simply Pay built it. What was the next? Lab scientists were recruited. The resultant effect, what people don't see, they simply bring the product to a village. You breathe in, it takes your breath. Within 5-10 minutes, the result is printed out with the film of your tuberculosis, with a scan result saying you have TB or not. 5 minutes rapid diagnosis. What goes on at the background? All these processes. Several people. How much do you think that equipment is worth? Can someone guess? Just a wild guess. A wild guess. Anybody? How many millions? Is it 1,000 or million? How much million? Can someone else guess? That equipment is worth 100,000 USD for one. Nigeria government paid him. USAID came in and bought 14 units for each state in Nigeria. What is the equipment doing? You bring it in front of someone, the person breathes in, lot of processes goes on at the back. That is a problem that has been solved, a real life problem that has been solved. 4 years in production, people sweating without being paid, but contributing. $100,000, $150 million per equipment. The numbers makes the difference. That is what we strive to do in Speedlink. When we did a first job for African Development Bank, they came up with a problem. They put up they wanted to build a climate change system that can help them. We came up and said, we won't just build a climate change system. What problem are you trying to solve? They are trying to solve. Remember, that was the period of green suits. Speedlink came and said, we don't just want to build the app. We want to help you solve a recurring problem. We came up with what we call a greenhouse accounting toolkit. We employed data analysts. What did data analysts do? They went into research and built the Excel platform. What is it doing? We called it accounting toolkit. What is it doing at the back end? Simply gathering data from several countries in Africa, their carbon emission level and all of that. We now converted it to an app. The next stage, we called on people to produce simulators and sensors and all of that to pick out and breathe in the air. And what was the resultant effect? We set the price for that product. I'm calling us now, Port Harcourt people, Port Harcourt software developers. Please, can you move my slide? I can't. Port Harcourt software developers, please, my slide. Where's the system I'm controlling? Okay. So money is not just the only capital. Please, next slide. Okay, so Nigeria needs collaborative infrastructures. We need people to collaborate and come together. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this is where we are now. This is a picture of our facility. This is a lab that we are building. In fact, I'll tell you this. In China, my friend went to China. I'm using it to represent my friend. Went to China. I've gone to UK. I've gone to about 10 different countries on this. What do those countries do? They are keen on research. We are calling us as Speedlink, calling every one of us. Let's come together. Next slide. Let's come together, build a tech hub of our choice. The world will not hear us until we come together. Before this slide, please, the previous slide. Okay, just next. So we have a facility currently built where we have about 7, no, not this one. Please, this is our facility there. We have about 7 to 8 tech firms already registered. And we are calling us, those that have access to funds, you bring it. Those that have the skill, but no funding, you come on, let's collaborate and solve problems, one problem at a time. Next slide. Something else is coming to Port Harcourt. I don't want to speak much about it, but very soon, this facility will be available right in the city of Port Harcourt, Aba Road. And it is a tech hub. I'm coming. Speedlink is not funding this. It's not funding this. What do? We reached out to well-meaning individuals and sold this vision and said we want Port Harcourt to be Lagos, to be better than Lagos. Once any idea tech is mentioned in Nigeria, we want it to be in Port Harcourt. They have put together billions of naira, and this, as I was told last week, this will soon be coming up. And once it comes up, it has, in fact, any tech meeting, any capacity, once it comes up, it will be hosted there, FOC. You know FOC, it will be hosted there. So this is where we are driving at. Next slide. So we didn't wait for people to build the ecosystem. We don't have to wait. We have to build it on our own. Port Harcourt should be spoken the same way we speak as Lagos, Nairobi, Kigali, China, London. Tech ops should not end. I told my friend, the organizer of this program, when he came to the office to invite me, I said, I'm tired of attending too many events. Why? After these events now, a lot of us will be taking pictures and posting. What I recommend, think collaboration, think ideas, think solution, live with a responsibility. What is responsibility? To team up and see what we can do. I attended the GITEX event in Dubai. I saw Lagos State government in a booth. What did Lagos State government do? They brought in startups to come and pitch in that event. Rivers State, no. No other state in Nigeria was there. In fact, when I went in, I was registered as a private individual. I quickly did a tag for Lagos State. I went and queued up behind Lagos State. I kept on asking myself, why can't Port Harcourt come together? And we can only bring, GITEX now came to Lagos and Abuja last year. Last year, September, architects came, Lagos and Abuja. They can only come to Port Harcourt if we come together and build products together. Speak with one voice and tell the world we have built a product on solving Vision 2050, waste management, climate change, hospital management, HR, CRM, whatever it is. We are not building in silos, but we are building together. Thank you very much.